Join the Bhakti podcast with deep insights into all matters spiritual. Like and subscribe to keep up to date with your inner self.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine.
We will not respond. It gets a completely mishmash. It's just you, and we are quiet.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Deveshesha Shunyavadi Aschatya Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Hare Krishna. Saranga, Prabhu Ki Jai. That was beautiful. That was very, very beautiful. Amisha writes, so nice. Ramananda, wonderful. Yes, beautiful, Abai. Okay, beautiful. Nice Kirtan. Now we know. Now we know. Hare Krishna. Okay, welcome, Amit. So, we're looking at Bhagavad Gītā, 8th chapter, text 16, a very famous verse tonight. Amisha, you would like to read our Sanskrit?
ā-brahma-bhuvanāl lokāḥ punar āvartino rjuna upetya tu kaunteya punar janma na vidyate.
And translation and purport as well?
Translation. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kuntī, never takes birth again. Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All kinds of yogis, karma, jnana, hat, etc., eventually have to attain devotional perfection in Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness before they can go to Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. Those who attain the highest material planets, the planets of the demigods, are again subjected to repeated birth and death. As persons on earth are elevated to higher planets, people on higher planets such as Brahmalok, Chandralok, and Indralok fall down to earth. The practice of sacrifice called Panchagni Vidya, recommended in the Chandogya Upanishad, enables one to achieve Brahmalok. But if on Brahmalok one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness on the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the time of universal devastation are transferred to the eternal spiritual kingdom. Baladev Vidyabhushan, in his commentary on Bhagavad Gītā, quotes this verse from the Kurma Puran. Brahmana sahate sarve samprapte pratishanchare parasyante kritatmanaha pravishanti parampadam. When there is devastation of this material universe, Brahma and the devotees who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to specific spiritual planets according to their desires.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Go read us a translation again.
From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kuntī, never takes birth again.
Amaginatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshirin Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapata Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri I lost my train of thought. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagadapate Gopasya Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We skipped a few verses, but it doesn't matter really. Oh, Hare Krishna. So, it's a beautiful, beautiful verse we're having tonight. Important verse. Higher planets. The material universe is vast, very vast. From our scientific point of view, we cannot even account for a small portion of planets. What to speak of all the planets in the universe? That's not possible. And the universe has a definite diameter, and that's a small universe. Our universe is a small universe, headed by the Supreme Personality of Lord Brahma, four-headed Brahma. So it's a smallish universe. Their universe is many times bigger than our universe. And there is also a Lord Brahma with 1632 hundreds of heads, according to the size of the universe. So this Brahma Loka or Satya Loka is the highest planet in the entire universe. And Lord Brahma is a position. It's a position like a prime minister. That's Lord Brahma. Jayantibai, welcome. Virtue, welcome. So, who gets this position of Lord Brahma? The most pious person in the entire universe. That seems to be very difficult to conceive. We may have our family, and one member of the family, perhaps a grandfather or anyone else, is known to be the most pious in the family. We can also find someone the most pious in the community, in the country, even in the whole world, the most pious person in the whole world. But here Lord Brahma is the most pious personality in the entire universe. So he gets that position of Lord Brahma. And next verse, after that we have some numbers, we have some calculations. How long does Brahma live? Millions and millions of years. Because time is very relative. Our time here in comparison to the time of the planets, of the demigods, is vastly different. What to speak of Lord Brahma's planet? There has been some calculation when astronauts went up, high up somewhere, and after a space station perhaps, and after many months they came back, and by calculation it has been found out there are 1 minute younger than anybody else who stayed on Earth planet, because of the different time calculations of the higher planet. So further away from Earth, so the time span increases. In the higher planets, living entities live 1,000 years. Here on Earth planet, 100 years. If someone reaches 100 years, then everybody will admire, oh, he has reached 100 years. But there are planets, higher up planets. Say, life expectancy is not 100 years, it's 1,000 years. And we go higher up. Higher means the planets are stacked like on top of each other. So, lokāḥ, lokāḥ, our earthly planet, is in the middle planetary system. There are higher planets above the Earth planet, which are called heavenly planets. And there are lower planets, which are called the hellish planets, the patala loka, maha, tala, and so on. So we are in the middle, lower planets, and higher planets are there. And on the higher planets, 1,000 years life expectancy. We go higher, 10,000 years. We go higher, 100,000 years. And as mentioned, next week, we're looking in very detailed account how long is Lord Brahma's day. When Lord Brahma, for instance, we know from the Leela, where Lord Brahma stole the cowherd boys and the calves. And Lord Brahma just came back to the scene after a moment. An entire year on this earthly planet had passed. So that gives us some kind of an idea. And the lifespan of Lord Brahma is huge. Huge. Even his day is huge. His night is the same amount of time. So here Lord Krishna says from the highest planet, Brahmaloka, in the material world, down to the lowest, are all places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death takes place. That makes it a place of misery. Repeated birth and death. Because these are the greatest miseries we can conceive of. Birth and death. We may not think of it much because it seems to be far away from us, birth and death. But it's surely to come. So that makes it a place of misery. Birth and death will also take place in the higher planetary systems. Even on Brahmaloka, even Lord Brahma has to die when his 100 years means billions, 311 billion and something years of our earthly calculations. And Lord Brahma also has to change body. But as explained here by Srila Prabhupada, if the yogi, what to speak of Lord Brahma and the accomplished great saints, they go to the heavenly planet, they go to the higher planet, Tapaloka, Jnanaloka, Mahaloka, and they all have names, these planets. And we go there. And these great souls, once the time for devastation comes, then they moving further, higher into the spiritual world. And if not, if they don't make that endeavor of becoming Krishna conscious on the higher planetary systems and planets and Svarga Loka, and they just enjoy, because the enjoyment in the heavenly planets is unimaginable for us here. We cannot even imagine. If we take the richest, the most opulent person here on earth, that is just a fraction of the enjoyment what the inhabitants of the higher planetary systems, of Svarga, the heavenly planets, what they're experiencing. The pleasure there is unparalleled. So one can very well get distracted, like like the sons of Kuvera, Nala Kuvara and Manigriva, they got distracted by the opulence. They were in the higher planetary systems, and Kuvera is the treasurer of the demigods, so they were very opulent. And they were bathing one day, they were bathing with the ladies, all naked. So much enjoyment there, all naked, in the waters. But then so it happened that Narada Muni passed by on his preaching program, on his Sankirtan. And the ladies immediately, they covered themselves, as should be done. But these two sons of Kuvera, they were so intoxicated. Yes, and the higher planetary systems, there is intoxication. There's some beverage, intoxicating beverages. And so they were shameless. They did not cover themselves. And Narada Muni cursed them with a blessing in disguise, cursed them to become trees, to take on the body of trees on this earthly planet. Why trees? Because if someone exhibits himself naked, makes a show of it, then yes, a tree is a suitable body next time around, because a tree is also naked. He's standing there. But there is no transgression when a tree stands there all naked. But if human beings standing there all naked and not covering themselves, what to speak if the great sadhus passing by, then that is an offense. So they were cursed by Narada Muni with a blessing in disguise. They would be delivered once Krishna comes and delivers them. And we have that whole Damodar pastime. We all know when Krishna pulled that grinding mortar between those trees, the fork of trees. Amrita Radhamadaji Haribol. Look what a big group we have assembled here. Hare Krishna. All what is missing is Rituan. Prakash, Hare Krishna. So, a blessing in disguise that was because they have been delivered after standing as trees, the twin rjuna trees, for a very, very long time. So, the point is, in the heavenly planets, the living entities tend to be so much absorbed in enjoyment, say, forgetting the goal of life. Generally not Lord Brahma. Also, it happens that in some universe, Lord Brahma may not be a devotee, may not be available. Lord Brahma has to be a devotee. But if there is no qualified living entity for Lord Brahma, for that position, so what happens? Then Krishna himself becomes Lord Brahma. And Krishna himself will be the leader in the universe. So being promoted to the heavenly planets, there is a great risk to become degraded, and then we have to come back down to this earthly planet. Up and down. There's a beautiful verse. Brahmanda Brahmita Gona Bhagavan achieve Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lada Beach. Beautiful verse. It explains. The universe is a Brahmanda, the entire universe. So living entities. So going up is explained to the higher planetary systems with wonderful, great facilities for sense gratification and enjoyment. And then they're coming back down because they don't become Krishna conscious. The opulence is so much distracting in the heavenly planets that impetus for becoming Krishna conscious is very, very small. In fact, the demigods, they would like the desire to be born on this earthly planet. Why? Because there is a good mixture between happiness and distress. So the impetus of getting out of this material world is much, much greater than in the heavenly planets. If people suffering, then Krishna is very close. We have explained many times. So that is our Mrityu Loka. Death, Mrityu, death, planet of death and birth. So generally the living entities, they're going up and they're coming down again. And they're going up and down. It's like a yo-yo. A yo-yo, children's toy. It's this little round thing, wooden or plastic maybe, on a string. You pull it, it goes up, down, up, down, up, down for hours. Children can play that, up, down, up, down. So we going up and down since innumerable lifetimes, sir. We have had it all, we have seen it all, we have been in the heavenly planets, we have been in the lower planets, we have been in the middle planetary system. But those who have sufficient intelligence and who are fortunate, Bhagyavan, one must be fortunate by contacting a pure devotee of the Lord. Then everything changes. Coming in contact with a pure devotee. Brahmanda Brahmita Kona Bhagavan achieve. Guru Krishna Prasate Bhai. So, Srila Prabhupada very often he quotes it, Guru Krishna Kripa Pai. Same thing. Mercy. Mercy. By the mercy. And that's very important. Of Guru and Krishna. Both is needed. The mercy of Guru and Krishna. In fact, Guru is a mercy carrier of Krishna. Krishna likes to distribute his mercy through the pure devotees, through the Guru, Chaita Guru, in the heart. The Guru manifests from the heart. Krishna is in the heart. He knows what we want. We want to make spiritual progress, or we want to just be content and having a materially pleasant life, if something like that is even possible. In between suffering, in between distress. Yes, we take these breaks in between distress. Oh, that's happiness. No, that is just the pause in suffering, in distress. So it takes both Guru and Krishna. And then what happens? Through Krishna's mercy and the mercy of Guru, he implants the Bhakti Lada Bij into our heart. We didn't have that Bhakti Lada Bij for millions and billions of lifetimes. And we are Bhagyavan, fortunate, and then by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we're receiving the Bhakti Lada Bij. Bij is a seed. We also have some mantras, and like Gayatri, 7 Gayatri mantras. And there is a bij, a seed, the first word in the mantra. Like the Brahma Gayatri, everybody knows. There's many songs, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. The seed is, the bij is Om. And those Gayatri mantras relating to Guru, it's Aim. And those relating to Lord Chaitanya and the Gopal mantra and the Kama Gayatri, it's Klim. So these are all seeds. And we have also beautiful bij mantras for the various different deities when we do deity worship. For instance, Lord Nrsingadev has a very special mantra, Om Kshrom Shri Nishimhama Namaha. Another one is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya for Krishna. Klim Krishnaya Namaha. So many. These are all the first Klim, Aim, Om. These are all Bij mantras, syllables. So, this Bhakti Lada Bij. Bhakti we know. Bhakti is devotion. Lata is a plant. It's a plant, a creeper of devotion. So very often our little sprouting creeper is compared to a plant, perhaps even a tulsi plant. If we have ever planted tulsis, these tiny little black seeds, so tiny, tiny. Sometimes people just throwing a handful in a pot, and then they're getting 500 tulsi plants, and then they don't know what to do, because each tulsi Devi must have her own pot. So they're going to B&Q and buying 500 pots. So then it becomes very difficult. Generally, we don't encourage, we don't do more than one tulsi plant per pot. Of course, within the Indian community, they're growing, and she's also growing very nicely on windowsills with just a whole tangle of, it's not a tulsi trees, the tulsi bushes, a jungle of tulsi. But they grow because these are pious people with bhakti, obviously, must be there, because tulsi grows by bhakti, devotion. So it is explained when we plant this seed, first there will be a little sprout coming up with 2 leaves. So what we have to do to cultivate said Bhakti Lada Bij, we have to water it. If we don't water the plant, we have put the seed into the ground and the plant will die. That is an example. What is the watering of our creeper, of our Bhakti Lada Bij, is a chanting of Hare Krishna. If we neglect the chanting of Hare Krishna, our Bhakti Lada Bij will shrivel and die. We have received that seed in our heart by the pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada has distributed hundreds and thousands and millions of seeds all over the world. That comes from Shraddha. Everything starts from Shraddha, faith. That's the first stage in our devotional service. So little tiny spark of faith. Perhaps we have read some passage of Srila Prabhupada's books, and then that faith has been sparked. Perhaps we have done some philosophical research. We researching from the Jnani side. We looking for the absolute. We know there must be more than this material world of sense pleasures. There must be something more deeper, more meaningful. And through Srila Prabhupada's books, millions of books have been distributed all over the world. Then we receive that seed, that Bhakti Lada Bij, through Srila Prabhupada's books. What to speak of meeting a pure devotee, then that is very strong. So we have to water the Bhakti Lada Bij, we have to water our faith by chanting, by sadhu sangha. That's the next step. Shraddha, faith. Next step is sadhu sangha, the association of devotees, like here tonight. Very important, the association of devotees. And what a beautiful group of devotees we have here. 10 number. Normally we have a much smaller group, but Virtue is here, and Ramananda, Sharanga, Amisha, Abai, Amit is a regular. So, yes. So, by that association, Sadhu Sangha, there's a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrikaya, Lavamada Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhihaya. Is explained by a moment's association with a pure devotee. All success in life is guaranteed. What does that mean? If we have a little bit association with a pure devotee, that may be physically, but how many of us have met Srila Prabhupada? It may be by reading his Bhagavad Gītā as we do tonight, by hearing his audio classes, by seeing his video and audio and video and festival classes and morning walks and reading his letters, reading his other books, many books, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion. All of that, we're getting this Bhakti Ladder Beach in our heart. But then the next step after Sadhu Sangha is Bhajana Kriya. Then we have to sincerely engage in some devotional service to make further progress. And that's a natural progression. Bhajana Kriya, bhajan. Then we have to chant a fixed number of rounds. That's so very important. A fixed number of rounds. There are many that are chanting whenever they feel like, which is great, which is absolutely wonderful. Chanting whenever we feel like, full of enthusiasm. Suddenly in the middle of the day, the Mahamantra comes to our mind and Hare Krishna, like that. That's wonderful. But more wonderful is if we cultivating this bhakti ladder, this devotional creeper systematically. We chant a fixed number of rounds. It may be just one round a day. On beads, chapa beads, tulsi beads. How nice is that? Tulsi beads. Tulsi is so very wonderful and auspicious. Bhakti Devi she is called. She will help our spiritual progress. She will help us to develop our bhakti. It's all about developing bhakti. This bhakti ladder beach, this little seedling. And if we keep watering that seedling, then it will grow. But along with that seedling, so many other things will also grow. We start watering our seed, and then there are some weeds growing as well. And at the beginning, we cannot hardly distinguish which is a weed, which is a seed. I've seen that because I'm doing some gardening, allotment gardening. So you're planting in a soil where there's lots of seeds. You're planting your desirable seeds, and it looks all the same at the beginning. So you don't know. You want to pull out some weeds, and you're pulling out the plant. Or vice versa. So when it's getting a little bit bigger, the plants, then maybe with some bit of expert knowledge, we can distinguish what is a plant, what is a weed. So weeding is very important because the weeds will suffocate the bhakti ladder beach. What are the weeds? The weeds are so many material desires, so many mental speculations. We came across, we have heard on the internet, different philosophies, different this, that. So this, and doubts are, so many doubts are in our mind. These are all weeds. And with expert guidance, sadhus, more advanced devotees than we are, they will help us to weed out the weeds and nourish the seeds. So that is bhajana kriya. And then, of course, our kripa grows. Bhajana kriya. Then the next step is anartha nivritti. It is a weeding process, an actual weeding process. Artha is a very pious activity. Anartha is the opposite. Impious activities, sinful activities. We have to stop them. And at this stage, we have to strictly follow the principles. No meat, no fish, no eggs, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. These are the main big pillars of material life, anarthas. We have to weed them out, and it's not that easy, because these anarthas have been growing since millions of lifetimes. And so more we indulge in sense gratification, so more festered these sinful desires become in our heart. It's not that our desire get satisfied. Good. So my material desire gets satisfied and no more material desire. No, it's not like that. It's just the opposite. Our material desire gets satisfied and we want more, and ever more. Therefore, Shastra, Bhagavad Gītā tells us, these lusty desires, that's what it is, lusty desires. And lust is used in the widest sense. Anything we're lusting after. Lust doesn't mean sexual. Lust, we can lust over some food, we can lust over so many things. So, these lusty desires or selfish desires to gratify our senses, so more we try to gratify our senses, so more it is explained, it burns like fire. Why is that analogy used? Our material desires are burning like fire, because fire is just burning, and the more we put anything into the fire, it will just swallow it up and it will burn twice as big. So if we give food to our senses who are craving for satisfaction, the eyes craving for beautiful forms, generally the beautiful form of a woman, and any other beautiful forms, the eyes are craving for this. The tongue is craving for a variety of tastes. And we have smell and the sound for the ear and the touch, soft touch. So we're craving for that. But so more we give in and satisfying our senses, so more we are dissatisfied. Satisfaction, in fact, never comes. It's just the craving stops for a short moment in time. Like we have eaten a big, wonderful feast. So the belly is full, the tongue is satisfied for a short moment in time, because we cannot even eat anything more. But as soon as the digestion has taken place, then immediately that desire for satisfying our palate and our tongue, that burns again, twice as strong. So it is not a solution of satisfying our senses and thinking, now they're satisfied, end of story. No, they're never satisfied. So that's anartha nivritti, to get rid of our deep, deep-rooted material desires. And different desires with different persons. We don't all have the same desire. Someone enjoys sweet, someone enjoys savory, someone enjoys something else, someone enjoys certain things to look at, someone else desires something different to look at. So we are all individual. And we, according to our desires at the time of death, we will get a body. Superficially, it looks like every human being has 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 tongue, and so on. But that's only a very superficial description. If we look a little bit deeper, what we are craving for with that tongue, what we are craving for with those eyes to see, to touch, to smell, to taste, it's different from person to person. So we have different senses and mind, of course, from one another, as much as we have different bodies. Each body is different. According to our desires, we're getting a certain type of eye, a certain type of ear, a certain type of to touch, to taste, to hear. That's very individual, according to our material desires. Krishna is so kind. Krishna is not saying, oh, you gratifying your senses with my energy. Krishna's energy, Daivya Gunamai. Krishna's energy, we take it. We take it for granted. I take Krishna's energy is meant for my enjoyment. Isn't it? That everybody is thinking, that the whole world is thinking. This material energy is for my enjoyment. And some others think, it's for my enjoyment. And then they fight. No, I want to exploit this energy, these resources. And someone else said, no, it belongs to me. And they fight, and they're going to war. So we're exploiting this material energy without giving credit to Krishna. Because this material energy is not meant for our enjoyment. Loads of people, the majority of people think, we are here in this world. What's the purpose we are in this world? To enjoy. God has given us these senses. God has given us all the facilities and this material energy to enjoy. That is not the purpose of our human form of life. That is misguided. The purpose of this human form of life is to take Krishna's energy and offer it back to him as a gift of love and bhakti. Like when we go to India, we're bathing in the Ganges, we're taking water from the Ganges in our palms and offering that water to Ganga. Oh, that's her water. We're taking her water and offering it to Ganga. So it's the same. We're taking this material energy and offer it back to Krishna. Then we make spiritual progress. Only. If we don't, if we just independently think this is for me to enjoy, we're becoming more and more entangled and going down and down and down in the lower modes of nature, and eventually ending up in bodies which are not human, animal bodies. Because animals cannot take their food and make an offering to God. No, they don't have that capacity. The animals just living for the gratification of their senses. And if the human being who's supposed to be culturally advanced, if we live only for the fulfillment of our sensual desires, in fact, we are not better than animals, just in a human form. But the consciousness is still stuck in the animal kingdom. The evolution, spiritual evolution, has not taken place. But those who are serious about Krishna consciousness, they take part in the spiritual evolution. Spiritual evolution means evolution of consciousness. Higher consciousness, higher, higher, higher. And once we have gone for quite considerable time through the process of anartha nivritti, we have weeded out the weeds Or another example, making ghee from butter. We have taken the foam off again and again, and more comes up, and we take it off until less and less comes up. That's a very advanced stage in our Krishna consciousness. We cast these material desires aside. We put strict boundaries. We don't say, don't eat, don't engage in sex life. No, we don't say that. Regulate your eating, regulate your sex life, regulate your seeing and hearing capacity, all of that. How is that regulation? To dovetail it in Krishna consciousness. To put Krishna into the picture. How do we put Krishna into the picture when we eat? By offering the food first. All food we eat, not some food and others not. So it may be an intermediate stage, but we need to come to the point where we offer everything we eat, if it is offerable, of course. Certain foods are not offerable. Meat, fish, eggs, we cannot offer to Krishna. Why? Because sometimes people are arguing, why shall I not drink tea? Huh? From Indian background, everybody's addicted to tea. Why? Because the British introduced the tea, and when India kicked out the British, they kept the tea addiction. So the argument comes up, what tea is just a herb. What's wrong with a herb? Well, marijuana is also a herb. What's wrong with that? So that's not a serious argument. Shastra says no intoxication. There are some thein is similar to caffeine, addictive. I've seen people can be addicted. Oh, I remember long time ago, I was working in a laboratory, and there was one gentleman, elderly gentleman in his 60s probably, and he, after some time, his hands started to shake. He was shaking. He was literally shaking like an old man. And he said, oh, I need my coffee now. So he went and had a coffee break, drank some coffee, came back. He was peaceful again. So one can see this addiction even on physical symptoms. What to speak of the mental addiction? In fact, everybody in this material world is addicted in one way or another. Everybody is a drug addict. The drug may be social media, the drug may be sex life, the drug may be palatable food. So many things we are addicted to. We are addicted to being praised by others. Our false ego being stroked. Oh, you're such a wonderful person. We are addicted to look beautiful. So many things. These are all addictions. They have nothing to do with reality. So by making ghee, for instance, and that foam is taken away, then gradually, in most cases, even we don't even really realize it on a day-to-day basis, our material desires losing their grip on us. So don't go necessarily away, but they're losing their power. If you compare that to 20 years ago, our material desires were so powerful. Srila Prabhupada said, when Maya got you on gunpoint, there's nothing you can do. If someone stands with a gun behind us, and he says, okay, go straight on, then turn right. And he dictates where we shall go. We have to go. Because he holds us a gun on the head or in the back. So if Maya gets us on gunpoint, we have not much choices left. But we don't need to let it come to that stage when Maya gets us on gunpoint. At the beginning of our Krishna consciousness, yes, Maya is so strong. Gunpoint. She forces us, surrender to me. Take this sense pleasure. But as we progress in our Krishna consciousness, and through the weeding process of anartha-nivritti, then suddenly we realize, again, not day by day, but after some time, certain points in time, we realize, hey, these material desires has lost 50% of its potency. I do remember this material desire was so strong, and now it has lost a great deal of potency. Haribol, very good. That is how we can see that we made some spiritual progress, and our sense is becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. Not the senses, but our senses who craving for sense pleasure. It's described, it's like the becoming our senses who have been like poisonous snakes. By cultivating Krishna consciousness, they're becoming like snakes whose poisonous fangs have been removed. We only fear a snake because of the poisonous bite. But if the poisonous teeth have been removed from that snake, no more fear. That's very important. No more fear. Once we coming to a certain point in our spiritual progress, no more fear, because the senses will not be very strong in material pursuit, but the senses have been trained of pleasing Krishna. So this Bhakti Ladder Beach will eventually grow higher and higher up, and piercing through the layers of the universe. The universe has layers. Bhumi, apona, vayu, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. So many different layers, and each layer is 100 times thicker than the previous one. Very difficult to escape this material world. But it's possible. By the mercy of a pure devotee, by sadhu sangha, by staying meek and humble, trinada bhisuni chena, tolerant like a tree, more humble than the grass in the straw in the street, and not expecting any recognition. Also, we give recognition to everybody else. Any honor, we don't expect any honor. Not everybody is on that level. The whole world, at least, if they don't want some gross material benefit, generally people want some material benefit. They don't do any work unless they get paid. Even if someone said, can you just help me? And said, okay, how much you pay me? That's how materialistic people are. They don't do something out of their heart for someone else in need or anything else. No, they're looking for some benefit. And if it's not directly gross material benefit, then they want to at least feel, I am such a wonderful person, I have helped that person. Please recognize me. Be grateful what I have done for you. We don't feel good if someone is not grateful. But whatever we do in devotional service is not a question of we expecting others to be grateful. We don't. If Krishna is pleased, we are happy. We don't care about anything else. We want to please Krishna. That's all what we want, to please Krishna. We don't want a particular result. We don't want recognition. We don't want honor, pratishtha, nothing of that sort. These are the finer contaminations. coming along with that false ego, that false identification. So we're making progress, and the bhakti ladder pitch is growing higher, 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 up, piercing the layers of the universe, and goes higher even then and takes shelter in Goloka Vrindavan at Krishna's lotus feet. And then our life has become successful. Haribol. So that is a beautiful verse, Brahmanda Brahmida Konya Bhagavanaji Guru Krishna Prasadi by Bhakti Lata Beach. Another very wonderful point Srila Prabhupada is making. All the yogas, and he names them, karma yogis, jnana yogis, hatha yogis, and so on, say independent of bhakti, they will never be successful. Some people will not accept that. They say, no, by yoga I can elevate, I can liberate myself. And no. All yogas need to end up in devotional perfection, in bhakti yoga or Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it won't be possible to go to Krishna's transcendental abode, where one never returns. So that's an important point. Very often we have described, or it is described, the yoga ladder. It's just like a ladder. We using a ladder for a particular purpose. Let's say we want to fix the tiles on our roof. The goal is to go to the roof and fix the tiles, and we're using the ladder. And the yoga ladder are some different rungs, steps on that ladder. One step is called hatha yoga, another step is called jnana yoga, another step is called karma yoga, and so on, ashtanga yoga. So the different steps are the different yogas. It's okay. But if we stay on any of those steps, that now I have achieved perfection. I'm a hatha yogi. I'm an accomplished hatha yogi. I know perfectly well my breathing exercises and pressing the nostril and so on, and in and out. And that is a perfection. I'm a perfect hatha yogi. But, dear sir, you wanted to go to the roof, and you standing and remaining on the third step of that ladder, and you're satisfied with the third step of the ladder. You will never go to the roof. Because if you want to go to the roof after the third step, you have to go to the fourth step, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10 steps. And the last step of that yoga ladder is bhakti yoga. That's the highest yoga. So there is no way around that the yogi, the karma yogi, jnana yogi, hatha yogi, ashtanga yogi, he cannot avoid the ultimate yoga, bhakti yoga. He can take the various steps, and he's known according to those steps, but he has to eventually come to the last step of that ladder, which is bhakti yoga. Srila Prabhupada makes it very clear. Eventually, these yogis have to attain devotional perfection in bhakti yoga or Krishna consciousness before they can go to Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. It's not possible by yoga without that bhakti part of yoga, without reaching that bhakti, that devotion is not possible to achieve the transcendental world. But even in the higher planetary system, there is repeated birth and death. Chandra Loka, Brahma Loka, that's all mentioned here, Indra Loka. They all fall down again to earth. Okay. There are two devastations of the material universe. A partial devastation where everything is devastated in due course of time below Brahma Loka. And so some advanced sages, when they can calculate, when the time for devastation is coming, they can see the signs, they can calculate astrologically. When that time is coming close, they have been on maybe Tapaloka, Mahaloka, lower planets, not lower, but lower than Brahmaloka. And then by dint of their spiritual powers achieved, they traveling to Brahmaloka. While also, Jantibai with your microphone. While all the lower planet below Brahmaloka, they all get devastated. They all get destroyed. But Brahmaloka does carry on, does exist. That's at the end of Lord Brahma's day, when his night is coming. All planets are destroyed. And when Brahma's next day is arriving, they're all recreated again. That is a partial devastation. The advanced souls say, taking shelter in Brahmaloka, do escape that devastation. And then there is complete devastation at the end of Lord Brahma's life, where even Brahmaloka, Lord Brahma's planet, is destroyed. And then those fortunate souls, they then going to the spiritual world. So that is happening. Okay, here we stop. Questions? Questions. Abai. Abai has a question. Put it in the chat. Anybody else has questions in the meantime? Put your hand up. Okay, here's Abai's question. Is it okay to desire to serve Krishna? And desire not to be in the material world at the same time? Is that mixed devotional service? Is that wanting something from Krishna? Does one have to come to the point of desiring just to serve Krishna? Good question. It's confusing because we hear all I want is your devotional service. Yes, yes. We just want to please Krishna. But we also hear that one must be repulsed by the material world. It's very nice to serve Krishna in this material world, but it's pretty horrible here. Is it okay to want both? Yes, it is okay to pray, my dear Krishna, I have enough in this material world. I burnt my fingers. Please take me back. Take me back to the spiritual world. It is okay. It is fine. No problem. Ramananda likes that, Amisha also. But there is something higher, which is very elevated. Srila Prabhupada describes the pure devotees that don't even desire to go back to the spiritual world. Can you imagine? We all desire to go to Goloka or Vaikuntha, to get out of here because we have enough. We have suffered so much. We want to go back home, back to Godhead. But the pure devotees that don't desire that. All what they desire is to serve Krishna. Birth after birth. Lord Chaitanya prays like that in his Shastakam prayers. I don't want any followers. I don't want any beautiful women. I don't want this. I don't want that. All I want to serve your lotus feet. Lord Chaitanya says birth after birth. So a pure devotee, it doesn't mind to be in heaven or hell. as long as he can serve Krishna. So that is a very, very elevated platform. To be so absorbed just to serve Krishna, that any circumstances, whatever it is, that is fine if I can serve Krishna. What did Haridas Thakur pray at the end of his allotted time? And Lord Chaitanya said, okay, ask me for a boon. I can give you any boon. And Haridas Thakur said, my dear Lord, please grant me one thing. If I don't mind to take birth again, but please grant me, even if I take birth as a dog, it be in the family of Vaishnavas. So the association of Vaishnavas, so important it is. If we don't have the association of devotees, we have no chance. Practically speaking, we have no chance to getting ever out of this material world. Because by the association of devotees, we get that inspiration to serve Krishna without any motivation. So, again, Abhay, it is okay to pray, take me out from here and lift me up to the spiritual world. But just for reference, the pure devotees don't pray like that. Devotees can accept, Srila Prabhupada writes, devotees can accept Salokya Mukti. Mukti is liberation. Loka is place. So Salokya Mukti means wanting to have set liberation to be on the same planet as the Lord. That may be Vaikuntha with Lord Narayan, that may be Ayodhya Dham with Lord Ram, that may be Goloka with Krishna and his Sakhas and the Gopis and so on. So a devotee can accept that Salokya Mukti. A devotee can also accept Sarupya Mukti, having the same bodily features as the Lord in Vaikuntha. Also devotees have the same bodily features as Lord Narayan. Bluish body, 4 hands, 4 arms, all of that. So devotees can accept that too. Sharshti Mukti, same opulences as the Lord, and so on. There's only one Mukti which devotees never accept, Sayujya Mukti, merging into the effulgence of the Lord. Because as soon as we merge into the effulgence of the Lord, the devotional service is destroyed. In merging into something, you become one with something. So how can you serve? You have become one. Service is only possible if there are two, the servant and the master. So therefore this yujya, this merging, that's never accepted by devotees. But we can accept the other types of mukti. But as a reference, Srila Prabhupada said, pure devotees said, don't even desire any mukti. So I hope this answers the question, Abhay. Okay, anyone else a question? We have a bit more time, 10 minutes. Especially made a bit more time for questions today. So we want some questions. Go ahead.
Is that can I ask, Prabhu?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. My question is, what does it mean to get mercy of a pure devotee? What does it mean? Like they will put their hand on our heads, or
You said what?
what exactly?
What was
Put
it?
their hand on our heads, or what exactly does it mean, and how to get the mercy of pure devotees?
That is everybody desiring. I know that. I have experienced so many times where people were saying, devotees were saying, oh, if just devotees or the pure devotee puts the hand on my head and all the knowledge I will get and everything. Oh yes, we want the easy method, right? Do we? We even want, there are certain type of devotees, they want initiation because they know very well the guru will take up my karma. So the guru becomes a karma upload machine. This all exists, that's not really the proper way of doing that. So the mercy of guru. Yes, of course it comes by touching the lotus feet. The devotees have been so mad after touching Srila Prabhupada's feet. Mad after, because Shastra says you touch the feet of a pure devotee. There's a very interesting story in this connection. Srila Prabhupada at the end, he was very, very ill. He hasn't eaten for many months. And all what he has taken was a cup of orange juice a day. He was basically bone and skin. And the nerves were rubbing on the bones and painful. And so that condition. So one Bhattacharya from South India, he traveled all the way from Hyderabad to Vrindavan. And he wanted, and in those days, last days, nobody could get an audience with Srila Prabhupada. The devotees kept everybody away. But because that Bhattacharya, he has a proper Brahmin, Bhaka Brahmin, he had studied the Shastras very, very extensively. And because he had traveled so far, so they allowed him an audience with Srila Prabhupada. And he said, I have scrutinized all the scriptures and everything. It has come to my attention that devotees are worshipping your Murti, Srila Prabhupada's Murti in Vrindavan, in Mayapur, in Bombay. But Shastra is saying the Murti should only be worshipped once the spiritual master has left his body. Because if the Murti is worshipped while the spiritual master is still present in his body, then people come and touching the feet of the Murti and offering prayers and loading up the karma to the Murti, and Srila Prabhupada will have to suffer all that karma in his already sick and body which was only skin and bones. So I would advise you, and he quoted all Shastric references, stop for the time being the worship of your Murti while you're still here. And Srila Prabhupada, he shocked him. He said, that's why I'm here, to take the karma, to suffer on behalf of them. That's why I'm here. That's the purpose. He was totally shocked, said Bhattacharya, and he said, well, I have nothing more to say. He didn't expect that. He was circumambulating Srila Prabhupada 3 times and he left back to Hyderabad. That was the last thing what he expected. Just like Jesus Christ. The Christians say, Jesus Christ has died for our sins. He took the suffering so we can make some spiritual progress. So Srila Prabhupada is the same. He has made himself available. He took the suffering so all these conditioned souls can make some tangible spiritual progress. So the mercy of the spiritual master comes through his instructions. That's a mercy. Not through putting his hand on our head. That is, of course, very nice. And he did that for several devotees. He pulls a sikha or he rubs their head. Yes, that has happened. But the pure devotee, by his instructions, he gives the mercy. Why is that the mercy? Because those instructions the spiritual master gives, they are meant for spiritual progress. They are meant to help the conditioned living entity to make further spiritual progress. That's the purpose of those instructions. So if someone gives us some good advice, some good instructions, then we can make further spiritual progress. That's a real mercy. And if we serve the spiritual master, if we serve the pure devotees, then those benedictions and this mercy will automatically flow. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. So basically, following the instructions and serving their instructions, or in other words, trying to fulfill their desires, will help us get their mercy. Is that correct understanding?
Yes, because the pure devotee's desires are not different from Krishna's desires. In fact, the pure devotee is a mercy incarnation of Krishna. So it's a direct link. Direct link. The mercy comes from Krishna through the pure devotee.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, anyone else? Put your hands up. We have maybe one or two more questions. Amit, last time you asked such a beautiful question. And even after the next day, I sent you some more detail on your questions. Once you ask your questions, I'm still, it's the next few days, I meditate on them. If I haven't really answered them as fully as I could have done, I get back to you. So, questions. Amritarati Mataji, okay?
Maharaj, actually the question is regarding Guru Tattva, which we haven't really discussed today. I mean, but can I ask or should I wait for?
Ask.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. So the question is, what exactly is Guru Tattva? Like, for example, I have my spiritual master, a person who's probably a jiva, who is a pure devotee of Lord Nityananda. So basically, my guru is this one person, because I do receive a lot of instructions from other jivas who are also pure devotees of Lord Nityananda. So in the spiritual world, with whom do I have my connection? This has always been my question. So if you could.
Yes.
If you could.
Srila Prabhupada makes a very interesting statement. The spiritual master is not the body. It's a principle. Spiritual master is a principle, not the body. So we have to rise beyond. Of course, it doesn't mean, here's my Guru Maharaj. Oh, I worship the principle of Guru Tattva and I'm neglecting my physical presence of my spirit. No, of course not. Of course not. Amit, sorry, my microphone is not working for some reason. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But I hope you can hear us. Okay, so it doesn't mean, it sounds a little bit almost like impersonal, but Guru is a principle. The mercy principle of Krishna. And Guru may manifest as this particular person, and he may manifest. We should not expect that Guru, his physical manifestation, now, if we take another birth, God forbid, the next lifetime, the Guru will come in exactly the same physical manifestation. No, he won't. What's the proof of that? Srila Prabhupada said, when asked, will we recognize each other in the spiritual world, right? The different devotees of a particular temple or wider ISKCON or spiritual movement. And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, we will recognize each other. So let's say in Goloka, we said, oh, Amritarati Mataji, you are here. Oh, Amit, oh, yes, nice to meet you. Birchu, Chayanti Bhai, Ramananda Prabhu, Hamisha Abai. You're all here. But then Srila Prabhupada said, but you won't recognize me. Oh. Because I will be just, not in this body, in this old body, I will be a young cowherd boy. So, yes, not recognized by the external form, but of course, we know. So Guru is a principle. The Guru manifests himself in so many different ways. There are so many different gurus also. Even parents can be guru, can take the role of guru. They give us good instructions how to make spiritual progress. They are also guru. And later on, the Diksha Guru is there. And there are Shiksha Gurus. And the Shastra says, again and again and again, there is no difference between Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. There's no difference. In fact, generally, not always, generally, the Shiksha Guru will later on become the Diksha Guru. That would be a natural progression. It doesn't have to be, absolutely, but generally, Srila Prabhupada says, so there's no difference. It's a different roles and different functions. The Diksha Guru has quite a different function than the Shiksha Guru. And we can have many Shiksha Gurus, but only one Diksha Guru. So, remember this. Guru is a principle, not the body. We shouldn't get... Again, when the body is available, we must serve the body of the spiritual master by all means. But if it's not anymore available, that body has disappeared from this world, then we serving the instructions left behind. And we see. Let's take one example. When Srila Prabhupada said to his disciples, you must have all been brahmanas in your last lifetime. How else could you make such rapid spiritual progress? And they have. They came from hippie backgrounds, they left everything behind, they became devotees and were very enthusiastic and going on Harinam and book distribution and Kirtan and all of the Krishna conscious process and did open temples and all of that. So he said, you must have been brahmanas in your lifetime, in your past life. In fact, my spiritual master has sent you to assist me in my mission, in my service to my spiritual master. So we should see it like that. And we will see it like that. That if our Guru Maharaj is present or not anymore present, then we should see, oh, Guru Maharaj has made this and these arrangements so I can serve Krishna, so I can serve him. Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yes, Prabhuji. So basically, in the spirit of a yogi, first of all, our desire should be to fulfill the desires of a pure devotee. This is what I gathered from your last answer.
Yes.
And when we have when such a desire is intense in our heart, then Sri Guru, who's the principal, will go on sending different souls, different interactions in our lives, so that we can fulfill our desire. Is that correct understanding?
Yes, that is fine. That is okay.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. So basically, we have to worship everyone as being sent by Sri Guru if our desire is intense enough.
If our
desire to serve pure devotees is intense enough.
Yes, it has to be very intense. Very intense. Our desire to serve the pure devotee and to serve all Vaishnavas is and should become more and more and more intense. Something very interesting. Jesus and his disciples. There are some pictures. Jesus not said. Normally, Vyaspuja, devotees, they worship the spiritual master, washing his feet and so on and so on. Jesus, he was washing the feet of all his disciples. Interesting. Reverse role. Jesus was washing the feet of his disciples. Why not? Vaishnavas are worshipable. It's not one way. Okay, I think here we have to stop. We could take one more question. One more question. Anyone? If not, we stop. It was a beautiful verse today. A key verse. From the highest planet to the lowest. They're all places of suffering. So, it's okay. I want to get out of here. Hare Krishna. See you on Saturday.
Join the Bhakti podcast with deep insights into all matters spiritual. Like and subscribe to keep up to date with your inner self.